ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar today, Ecological Insights into Japanese Encephalitis in Northeastern India, hosted by TDR Global Asia. My name is Agi Tiara, and I am delighted to be your host for this event. We're thrilled to have you join us as we explore the latest research and developments in the fight against Japanese encephalitis, with a special focus on the ecological factors that influence its spread, especially the current GE burden in pediatric age group and its economic burden to families. And also, this event brings us together leading experts in this field who will share their knowledge and insights to help us better understand and address this critical public health issue. With us here today, we have Dr. Gitalika Koti and Professor Bishnu Ramdas from Assam, India, from Jorhat Medical College, and they are the expert in this field. They will be our speakers for today's event. And also, before we start the event, to commemorate this day, we kindly ask our participants to open their video camera and take a picture with us before the event started. So we might have a memory to commemorate this very lovely evening or day, depends on where you are right now. I know it's a very, very global community right here, and some of you might be in India, some of you might be in Indonesia, some of you might be in America. For all I know, here today, we came from all walks of the world. Okay, so let us take a picture for a remembrance for today's event. Please open your camera and give your best smile. In 1, 2, and 3. Once again, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, so we done taking pictures? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. So before we begin for today's event, let me introduce our esteemed speakers for today. First, we have Dr. Gitali Kakoti. Hi, doctor. She is a distinguished woman scientist at the HR with MPhil and PhD. She is an expert in disease. Hi, doctor. Good evening.
Good evening, Agi.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you with us today. As we know, she will provide an overview of the current GA burden in pediatric age group and its economic burden to families. And also joining her is Professor Bishnu Ramdas. He's a renowned epidemiologist. Hi, Professor. Hi, it's nice to meet you today. Hi. He's known for his work on the epidemiology and control of vector-borne disease, including Japanese encephalitis. And he will be discussing the epidemiological trends in Japanese encephalitis, strategies for prevention and control, and maybe some real-world applications that his experience in the field focusing on the ecological perspective. So let us begin this session. Our session will be divided into presentations followed by Q&A sessions where each of you can have the opportunity to engage directly with our speakers. And also, if you have any questions, you can ask directly in the Q&A sessions by raising your hands in the Zoom, or you can put in the chat box below to ask about anything that you need to know about the Japanese encephalitis in northeastern India. So let us begin. Dr. Kakati, the floor is yours.
Is it visible?
Yes, we can hear you, doctor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Agi. So my topic is Japanese encephalitis in Northeast India and its economic impact in affected families, our research experience. Japanese encephalitis is an acute central nervous system inflammatory disease caused by Japanese encephalitis virus belonging to the family Flaviviridae and genus Flavivirus. So viral infections of the central nervous system can lead to the following clinical syndromes. So when brain parenchyma is affected, it is called encephalitis. And when meninges affected, it is called aseptic meningitis. And when spinal cord affected, it is called myelitis. And a single infection can affect multiple locations of the CNS, making clinical diagnosis difficult. And that is called melingomyeloencephalitis. Just a second. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. So this is the global distribution of known Japanese encephalitis virus infection and the risk areas. The red color shows. Japanese encephalitis in Asia. It is the leading causes of viral encephalitis in Asia. 30,000 to 50,000 cases reported annually. 10,000 to 15,000 deaths estimated per year in Asia, and 30 to 50% of survivors have significant neurological sequelae. So Japanese encephalitis in Indian context, JE epidemic have been reported in many parts of India, in the states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, northeastern states, including Assam, etc., with a higher number of amongst pediatric age group with still high mortality. And in Assam, almost in every year, epidemic-like situation occurs. There is no antiviral treatment. So based on this background, we conducted a study on clinical profile and outcome of Japanese encephalitis in children admitted with acute encephalitis syndrome. So we conducted this study in a tertiary care level hospital in Upper Assam, in the state of Assam, that is Assam Medical College Hospital. And we found the demographic profile of JE cases. If we see the age distribution of JE cases, in our study, mostly affected age group was 5 to 12 years. This is 59%. And sex distribution of the JE cases shows majority of the cases were male, that is 56%. And when we see the setting of the JE cases, then majority of the JE cases were from rural setting, that is 93%. And when we see the monthly incidence of JE cases, then monthly incidence shows a peak in the month of July during our study period. Clinical profile of the JE cases shows that majority of the cases had symptoms of fever, that is 100%, and 90.3% has altered sensorium, and 84% has seizure.
Agi,
Yes, Dr. Bis.
there is some problem. Some participants are saying that slide is not moving. I
Okay,
think it will be better if you give the slide from your end.
okay.
Might
So,
be some network problem is here.
yeah. Okay, so
Can you?
Komang, can you help us? So our team will share the screen. Please wait a minute. So
I already shared the
Komang
screen
is
from my screen. Yeah.
already sharing the screen right now. But in our end, the slide is still moving. So maybe Komang, I can help to share, help share. So can anybody see the screen right now? Is it moving?
It is moving, but show in slideshow.
Okay, so it is moving. The slide's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Gitali, you
Go
can
back.
go back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, now clinical profile of the JE cases. Majority of the cases had symptoms of fever followed by altered sensoria and seizure. Yeah, next.
Okay.
So, outcome of the JE patient at hospital research. Among the JE cases, 62% recovered completely and 20% died at hospital and 18% had neurological sequelae. And it is very pathetic to see the young children suffering from neuropsychiatric sequelae due to JE. Next. So this is a male child with post-JE sequelae in hospital. Next. This is another male child with post-JE sequelae during our follow-up visit. Next. This is another female child suffering from JE with neuropsychiatric sequelae. Next. So then we conducted another study on Japanese encephalitis in hospitalized children with AES after introduction of live attenuated SA1442 vaccine in endemic districts of Assam, India. Next. So in that study, our research question was, what is the status of JE in children in post-vaccination period? Next. And we set the objective to determine the incidence of JE in hospitalized children with AES after introduction of SA1442 JE vaccine in Assam. Immunization history revealed that only 11% JE cases were vaccinated, and major chunk, that is 77%, were not vaccinated, and unknown 12%. Next. We can conclude the study that incidence of JE infection amongst the hospitalized AES children is still high, that is 35% in post-vaccination period. Next. So we conducted a mixed method study in Jorhat Medical Hospital. And our topic was household characteristics, cost of illness, and coping mechanism of families of hospitalized acute encephalitis syndrome children, a mixed method study. Next. In our study, an attempt was made to comprehend the household characteristics, cost of illness, and coping strategy adopted by the family members of JEAES children admitted to a tertiary care facility in Assam, India. Next. We observed substantial socioeconomic burden to the affected families following JEAES due to poor household conditions. All the houses had corrugated roofing materials, and majority had mud walls, followed by brown barn bricks. Next. And all the households had practice of rearing different kinds of livestock, such as cow, goat, pig, then duck, chickens, etc. Next. And commonly reported household assets were mobile phones, cycles, then motorcycles, and television. Next. And less than half of the families possessed land for agriculture. Cost of illness. We analyzed the out-of-pocket cost, and we analyzed the direct cost and indirect cost. And direct costs were due to transportation, to hire the private vehicles to carry their ill child to hospital, and to going back to their home, and medications, investigations, food and accommodations. And indirect cost is work days missed by the caregivers, that is minimum, and it was ranging from 5 to 48 days, and on an average 15 days they have missed during their hospital stay with their ill child. And another cost that can never be quantified in monetary terms, that is intangible cost. Costs refer to the patient's or parents' psychological pain and agony. And the cost, out-of-pocket cost was, please go, and out-of-pocket cost was 3 times more than the considered family's mean monthly income. Next. Caregivers' characteristics during and after hospitalization of JE patients. And one of the prime caregiver described, we lost our job following hospitalization of our ill child. We are contractual wage earners. No work, no money is the policy here. No one would understand our pain. It is not easy to support a sick child without financial support for a family like us. Government supports are beyond our reach. No one listens to us. So, next. So, different types of coping mechanisms they have adopted. Excuse me. 31.4% sold any kind of asset, and 94.1% borrow money. 82.3% they arrange the money from gift or donation, and 2% sell their labors, and 5.8% they have treated their child with credit treatment. Next. So we can conclude the study as the economic impact of JEAS illness in affected family is significantly disastrous to cope up. Most of the family became bankrupted following the acute episodes of illness. The poor environmental conditions, lack of optimum household assets, high out-of-pocket expenditures, productivity losses worsen the economic health of the family, resulting in impoverishment. And cost of illness is a huge burden to the JEAS afflicted families, which demand reforms in healthcare, financing, and reimbursement in current context. Next. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. So it's a very beautiful insight from Dr. Gitali Kakoti. And we will have our Q&A sessions later after the presentation from Dr. Bisnu. So if you're interested to ask and is afraid to lose your questions during the period, you can kindly put your questions in the chat box below, and we will read that after the presentation from Dr. Bisnu. So Professor Bisnu, yeah. We will have your presentations up now.
Sure. I think we should call
Dr. Bisnu, Dr. Gitali? I think a slight connection problem. Okay, so there's a slight connection problem in Dr. Bisnu and Dr. Gitali's side. Perhaps if any of the questions are remain, if any of you wants to ask any questions, you can kindly put the questions in the chat room, and we will read the questions later. Okay. So Dr.
Hello.
Dr.
Yes, there's some net connectivity problem.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So I think I should start.
Yeah.
Then we'll go for the Q&A session.
Okay.
Oh. I think I'm very audible to all of you.
Yes, you're audible to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Agi, for giving us the opportunity to present on ecological insight into Japanese encephalitis in Northeast India. Next slide, please. Okay. So a little bit about the background of JE. If we see the infection, 1 in 250 to 500 infection manifests clinical illness, including encephalitis. That means only if 250 to 500 cases are infected, only one of them develop clinical illnesses. And if you go with the incidence rate, that is less than per lakh of populations. But the interesting point is here, the mortality rate is very high. It is 10 to 30%. 30 to 50% of survivors develop neuropsychiatric sequelae. Next slide, please. Japanese encephalitis is a primary cause of acute encephalitic syndrome in Asia, resulting in high mortality and neuropsychiatric damage among survivors. Moreover, JE has emerged as a major public health concern in Northeast India due to its complex eco-epidemiological risk factors. Next slide. Now, we used to say Assam is a home for JE virus infections. It is very endemic throughout all over Assam. Next slide. Yeah, JE cases reporting district in Assam. And if we see the districts, there are two kinds of districts. The district which are showing in green color, they are very known for JE epidemic. As Dr. Gitali has rightly pointed out, that sporadically or every 2 years or 3 years, there is epidemic of ZAI in green color districts. And districts which are not green color, there we are showing that ZAI occurring, those districts are newly infected districts. And this newly infected district and old district, we have had scientific information. Next slide. Yeah, next slide is age group affected. And if we say which age group is affected more, that is 1 to 15 years of age. They are more vulnerable to ZAI infections. But people of all age groups are affected in Assam. Adult infection most often occurs in areas where the disease is newly introduced and showing bimodal distribution. Where I want to bring attention of all the participants that if a district is newly infected, the herd immunity is very low. So in that case, the younger population as well as adult population, both of them are infected. Next slide. Now, favored ecological condition for growth of ZAI virus in Assam. Now see, this is the extra human host of ZAI, that is the pig. Mosquito is there. We have egret birds. We have paddy fields with full of waters. Then water hyacinths, then ducks. So this mosquito bites the pigs. After biting the egrets, then the pig is an amplifying host. So I want to emphasize here that the ecological factor is very much favorable in Northeast India for ZAI transmission. Next slide. Now, not only ecological factor, if we see about the man-mosquito contact or regarding the human being, that is the favored anthropogenic factors for transmission of ZAI virus in Assam. And this is the stilt house. The people used to live in the stilt house because of the repeated flood attack. And paddy field is there. So people for their livelihood, they go for the pig market. Pig is their livelihood. They sell pig, they rear pig. So these anthropogenic factors favors very much in transmission of ZAI in Northeast India. Next slide. Now we did one study regarding the eco-epidemiological risk factor of Japanese encephalitis in endemic region of Northeast India. And that was a hospital-based study. And we'll show in the next few slides our findings. Next slide. That is eco-epidemiological risk factor of Japanese encephalitis in endemic region of Northeast India, a hospital-based case control study. Next slide. Yeah, our study design was a hospital-based case control study. We conducted the study in Jorhat Medical College Hospital during the year 2017 to 2018. The study population was all the hospitalized patients admitted in pediatric ward and medicine ward. That means pediatric age group as well as adult age group we covered. Next slide. Now, this is the methodology for our study. We enrolled 2 control group, that is control arm 1, that hospitalized AES patient, and control arm 2, admitted patient in the same ward for other medical conditions. Then we took 49 lab confirmed ZAI cases. Next slide. Now, if we want to say about our findings of this case control study, we observed the following significant risk factor for ZAI infection in Northeast India. The number 1 risk factor is age at onset. I'll elaborate in the next slide. Then peak size near to human dwellings. Next risk factor is your dwelling in proximity to paddy field, that is less than 100 meters. Irregular use of mosquito nets not treated with insecticide. Then non-use of mosquito repellent. Then poor immunization history. Next slide. Now see how age factor is an important risk factor for ZAI transmission. Our study showed that the children who are between 1 to 5 years old and 12 to 15 years age group, they are more vulnerable to ZAI infections. Next slide. Now, proximity to peak tides. If we see the peak tides nearby house, then there is every possibility that the people residing that house are more vulnerable to ZAE infections. And these peak tides, peak is the livelihood for the rural people of Assam. They mostly depend on the pig business to earn their livelihood. So that is why we found that if pig tides are nearby house, and that becomes the risk factor for ZAE transmission. Next slide. Now, human dwellings. The interesting point is there, if there is human dwelling nearby paddy field, see, this is the human dwellings in a rural village, and this is the paddy field, and this is very nearby. And the mosquito breeds here in the water available in the paddy field, and from here, it goes to the peak, then ultimately accidentally bite the human being. So this nearby paddy field, if it is near 100 meters to the house, then it's considered as a risk factor in our study. Next slide. Now, one important thing, we got one fund, Dr. Gitali got a fund from the TDR WHO following her MOOC course, and we conducted one study there. We found that the immunization was found to be protective factor. It is known to everybody, and we also established that if we immunize our children with SA 1414-2, which is currently in routine immunization in Government of India schedule, then child are protected. So less immunization means more risks. Next slide. Now, use of impregnated mosquito net reduce the risk of ZAE infection. But problem is here, most of the people who resides in rural area, they use very irregularly the mosquito nets. And moreover, the mosquito nets were not impregnated. And that is why the people are suffering from the ZAE infection repeatedly in epidemic form. Next slide. Now, if we conclude, in our study, most significant risk factor of ZAE were, number one is your age at onset, human dwellings, proximity to pig size, proximity to paddy fields, poor use of impregnated mosquito net, and mosquito repellents. Now, this identification of risk factors for ZAE infection would help in setting guidelines as well as generating awareness regarding the prevention and control of ZAE infection among the general population. Next slide. Yeah. So based on your findings, we recommend the following prevention and control strategy. The number one is AE surveillance. That should be hospital-based. Whoever is admitted in the hospital as a acute encephalitis syndrome, that should be tested for ZAE positive. And if ZAE positive is found, then we know the locality where virus is circulating. The another thing that I mentioned in the very beginning, the pig is a very common business for livelihood in the people of Assam, the people of Northeast. And if pigs are here, they should be covered with the net so that mosquito cannot come. The most important factor is here the vaccination of the children. If we could immunize all the children, those who are below 1 year of age, the first dose at the 9 months and the second dose at the 16 to 24 months, then they will be protected. The another aspect is your awareness building. I'll show you in the next slides how awareness will build up. But the least important factor is the factor based on control strategy have not been very effective, not easy to implement in Northeast India. Next slide, please. Now, I mentioned that following the MOOCs grant, we conducted few awareness campaigns, and these awareness campaigns were conducted in the Anganwadi center, or you can say the sub-center where we can mobilize during the village health and nutrition day, the mother as well as the children. So we aware them how to use mosquito net, how to keep away from the mosquito biting, all those things. Next slide. Yeah. So we conducted few awareness campaign in school, telling about the children about the epidemiology, how the virus is transmitted, from how to avoid man-mosquito contact. So next slide. Yeah. This is an advocacy meeting with the medical officer who are posted at the rural level. we inform that if you do the impregnation of the or treat the mosquito net with insecticide of the villagers, then they will be protected from the mosquito bite. Moreover, the children who are dropped out or left out from the JE vaccinations, we should go for the catch-up program so that missed children or left out children can be covered. And the medical officer posted in the rural PHC, she was quite agree with us, and accordingly, we recommended that one. Next slide. Okay, so this is in short about the eco-epidemiology of the Japanese encephalitis and their risk factor. So thank you very much. Over to Agi.
Thank you very much, Prof. Vishnu and Dr. Gitali. So it's a very insightful presentations from both of you. It is very enlightening how Japanese encephalitis is a major burden, a major public health burden in northeastern India. It is something that maybe some of us here from other countries might learn as well, as Japanese encephalitis as not as common, but probably also a public health burden. And so we over to our Q&A session. If any of you wants to ask questions, there's one questions from Ardi. Prof. Vishnu, how about GE vaccine program for pig implemented in PHND? Is One Health approach half implemented for controlling the Japanese encephalitis? Thank you so much, Ardi. He's a master student in tropical medicine in UGM.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the questions. My answer is that in India, there is no as such countrywide program of pig vaccinations. The pig vaccination is mainly dealt by the veterinarian people. I'm not a veterinarian specialist. I'm a public health specialist. I'm related to human being. But still, I would like to say that is in research phase as under the Indian Council of Medical Research. But it has not been countrywide implemented in India. So we are in a very infantile stage regarding the pig vaccinations.
Interesting. Ardi, maybe you want to react, or maybe you want to comment on the response from Prof. Vishnu? It's very interesting how, oh, thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Oh, it's very interesting insights on how One Health approach is haven't been implemented fully yet. So, Dr. Gitali, maybe do you have any comments on this?
No, actually, in our study area, mainly pediatric age group is affected because they are more 5 to 12 years age group is mostly affected because they are more ambulatory. No, they play outdoor games and they accompany their parents to paddy field. And most of the village peoples are farmers, and because of the male child, they are mostly affected, as male child are more ambulatory and they go outside with their parents or farmer parents and father to cultivating land. So that's why they are more affected.
Okay, Dr. Gitali, that's very interesting. We have one question, however, this is in Indonesian language, so I will translate it. It's from...
You can write in chat, no?
Yeah, I will translate it for you.
Okay.
From Albert Adri, will vaccination be effective for the... Will vaccination be effective for the treatment of Japanese encephalitis?
No, no.
No. No, if the question is which vaccine is effective for Japanese encephalitis, this is the question?
No, the question, will vaccine be effective against Japanese encephalitis?
The question is the effective vaccine against the Japanese encephalitis. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So let me answer these questions. In India, we are in earlier days when we were a student, we were used kill vaccines, but the kill vaccine is not very effective. So nowadays we are using SF-1414-2, which is a live attenuated vaccine. This SF-1414-2 initially we imported from China, but India is well equipped now. They are manufacturing their own vaccines. So SF-1414-2 should be given in 2 doses. The first dose at 9 months of age, and the second dose at 16 to 24 months of age. And that to be given subcutaneously 0.5 ml. So if 2 doses of vaccines is given to the children, then they are protected.
Oh, interesting. To Albert Adri, do you have any comment on that, or do you have
Will vaccination be effective? Okay.
Yeah, so vaccination is one of the countermeasures for Japanese encephalitis, right? And it is interesting to see how effective it is to be one of the main combats against Japanese encephalitis. It's very interesting. So maybe any other, oh, yes, Professor Pisnu already responds. It's SA-14-14-2 is very much effective. Thank you so much, Professor. We have more questions from Ngasifudin. How to identify location where previously unknown Japanese encephalitis virus is suspected?
I think I should give the answer, Dr. Dutane. Yeah. Let's see, in one of the slides, I mentioned that AES surveillance, hospital-based surveillance. And one has to understand what is AES surveillance. That means the person who is having fever with altered sensorium or seizure, they are hospitalized. And what is our duty? If we get AES cases, we take two biological samples. One is your blood sample and one is your CSF sample. And we go for the ELISA test. If ELISA is positive, then we say if any samples is positive for the ELISA, then we say he is JE positive. And immediately we come to know where from this person is coming, what is his residence or what is his location. And that gives us information that the virus is circulating in that locality. Suppose a person who was admitted in our hospital after doing ELISA test, we come to know that he is from the such and such district, X districts. So that gives us information that X district is affected and virus is circulating in that district. So that is a very informative tool for us. That I want to say, that is AES surveillance. And through AES surveillance, we'll be able to know which districts are affected or which locality is affected. I think, am I clear to the participant who asked the questions?
Okay, so Ngasifudin, if you have any more comment or reactions to the response from Prof. Bishnu, you can also comment on, oh, no thanks. Okay, so it's already clear. Thank you so much, Ngasifudin, for the questions. We have 2 more questions from Silva Haryo Saputro. Are there any disparities in assessing the vaccine between southern and northern India?
No. Let me say there is no disparity because the vaccine is coming through Government of India. The Government of India distributing the vaccine all throughout the Indian country. So there is no disparity. The only information is that they are giving the vaccine only endemic districts or endemic states where the JE virus is prevalent. So there is no disparity between North India or South India or Northeast India. The same vaccine, SF-1414-2, is readily available and they are provided to all endemic districts and we are giving to our children.
And already included to, yeah, routine immunization.
Yeah, it is included in routine immunization program.
So the government already have a program to give vaccine throughout the India. That's
Yes.
actually very helpful, and it is very great to have the government to do so. So Silva, maybe you have more questions or response to the answer or follow-up questions. Feel free to type your response. And also, we have more questions. It's clear. Thank you. Thank you so much, Silva. From Florisma Aristariti Teguh, what monitoring and evaluation strategies are in place to assess the effectiveness of Japanese encephalitis control program?
Yeah, that I already mentioned that the AS surveillance is the main strategy. From AS surveillance, we come to know whether the ZE virus is going up or down. If more number of cases are admitted in the hospital, that gives us information that more numbers of cases are in the community. So if the cases are coming down or going up, that information we will get only through AES surveillance, acute encephalitis syndrome surveillance. I think I'm clear. Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's very clear. It's very interesting. Okay, any more questions from everyone? It's very interesting. Oh, there's a questions from Komang. I think everyone is very excited for this webinar.
Yeah.
You were saying that vector-based control strategy is not very effective. What are the main challenges in implementing vector-based control?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I like it. See, it is very difficult to control others. If I want to say, if I want to control myself, it is easy, but difficult to control others. And mosquito is, you see the breeding sites. The breeding sites is your paddy field. If you go for the adult control, you have to spray DDT or insecticide. You cannot do that one. Because if you spray insecticide in the paddy fields, and then the crops will be lost. So that is one. Second thing, if you go for the larval control, that is also difficult because larva, where you'll get the larva, that is also in paddy field. So only effective strategy that I have mentioned, that is the use of mosquito repellent. But how much repellent you will use? In the evening hours, when the children, those who are below 15 years of age, they are very playful. They come out of the house and they play here and there. And in the evening, mosquito bite is in the evening hours. And the children who are 15 years or 12 years, they go to paddy field with their parents to help their parents in the paddy field. And in the paddy field, man mosquito contact occurs. So it is not easy to go for the vector control. The easy way is to protect ourselves from the mosquito bite. That is, we should use insecticide treated bed nets. Or the best answer is go for the vaccinations. So that's why. So that's why I told you that vector control is not a very easy thing for the ZE control. I think I'm clear.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Bishnu. So, Komang, that's a very, very great explanations. So, there's more questions. I think our participants is very eager to learn more about Japanese encephalitis tonight. There's a question from Insandoyo. Is the vector same as mosquito Wolbachia? Actually, the mosquito Wolbachia means is Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Bacteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my PGT, he answered, he promised me that Wolbachia is a bacteria, not a mosquito.
Yeah, yeah. Probably in Indonesia, we have Aedes aegypti mosquitoes with Wolbachia bacteria.
Wolbachia Aedes aegypti transfer করেছে।
Wolbachia Aedes aegypti.
So maybe what he's asking is whether the vector is the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Yes, yes. But Aedes aegypti,
No,
that is the vector for the dengue, not for Japanese encephalitis.
So more questions from Albert Adri. In Indonesia, the Wolbachia mosquito, maybe what he means is Aedes aegypti.
in Assam, Culex tritoniorhynchus is causing mosquito.
Okay.
Culex tritoniorhynchus.
Okay, so the Culex mosquito is the here. So in actually in India, the main vector of the mosquito is the Culex mosquito. It's not the Wolbachia mosquito. So
yes, very right. In India, the main vector is Culex mosquito. The species is Visnui, Pseudovisnui, and Tritoniorhynchus. These are the three incriminated vectors for the Japanese encephalitis in India.
okay, so for everyone who's asking about the Wolbachia mosquito, so no, the vector is actually the Culex mosquito. So it's a different species of mosquito. So that should, okay. So that should not be a factor on increasing the Japanese encephalitis, right? Okay, so more questions from Ardi. I can see that Ardi is very happy on this webinar. We're also very happy with this webinar too. To Dr. Kitali regarding about calculating the economic burden of Japanese encephalitis. Do you use form or questionnaire from previous research or create a new one based on locally condition?
We use economic questionnaire.
Yeah.
One interview schedule was developed here. First, we pre-tested. Then we used the questionnaire. During our follow-up visit to the families. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, doctor.
Okay. We use the questionnaire.
Okay.
Economic questionnaire we developed and we used that one.
Interesting, doctor. So the questionnaire is did you use the same questionnaire from previous research, or in each locations you create a new questionnaire or adjusting the questions based on every location?
No, we developed it.
Doctor, can you hear me?
Actually, we developed one standard questionnaire here, depending upon the locality.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kitali, and Ardi also say thank you, Dr. Kitali. Okay. Last questions from Albert. Albert is asking.
Agi,
Yeah?
I can share my research articles later
Yeah.
on. They can read that one also, no?
Yes. Oh, we will be very grateful if you can share the paper with us.
Okay. In that, I will share later on.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It means a lot to us, and the participant must be very thrilled to read the paper also.
Yeah, they can read the paper.
Okay, so last questions from Albert Adri. This is follow-up questions about the Culex mosquito, meaning with different types mosquitoes. Are there other types of mosquitoes that can deal with that? I thought he was asking, is the another type of mosquitoes apart from Culex who can spread the Japanese encephalitis?
No, what I want to say, in India, only Culex mosquitoes transmit the JE virus, not like your Anopheles mosquito or Aedes mosquito. But Culex is incriminated vector in India for transmitting JE.
Okay, so Albert, the answer is the only mosquito who can spread the Japanese encephalitis, especially in India, is the Culex mosquito only. So I'm so very sad that this webinar is coming to a close, Dr. Bishnu and Dr. Kitali. Is there any closing statement from both of you regarding to Japanese encephalitis situations in northeastern India?
What?
Yeah, thank you, Agi, for giving us the opportunity. And regarding the Japanese encephalitis, where I want to say that, and from my own experience, because we have conducted research in last 15 to 20 years. And ultimately, we came to know that many children, it is a predominantly disease of children, many children, and they develop neuropsychiatric sequelae. The family who are affected because of Japanese encephalitis, they are bankrupted. They are very poor people. They reside in rural area. They don't have much money, and they don't understand what JE is. And whenever they come at midnight or at night to your hospital or our hospital with a child with high fever, altered sensorium, and after knowing the Glasgow Coma Scale, we know that the child will not survive, or the child will die within a very short period. And moreover, if he recovers also, he will develop neuropsychiatric sequelae. And being a human being, we know how difficult to bear or rear a physically or mentally handicapped child. So I will request all the scientific forum, all the policymakers to work together so that we can do something for the community, so that less and less number of children affected with the Japanese encephalitis. And moreover, I told you, the district where for the first time they is entering, that is new district, there bimodal distribution. Children as well as adult people are suffering from the Japanese encephalitis because of not having herd immunity. And herd immunity can be built either by through natural infection, that is that we cannot be here. The second thing, we can build the herd immunity by giving the immunizations. And if you work for the immunization, if we can give 2 doses of SF-1414 to all the vulnerable children, then definitely we'll be successful. So with these concluding remarks, I end here. Thank you, Agi.
Thank you very much, Prof. Bishnu. Dr. Gitali, anything you might to add?
No, I'm with Dr. Bishnu. So
Yeah.
my feeling is also same, because we both are working on JE from last 15 years. So thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, well, Doctor, it's our pleasure to give you this amazing platform to showcase both of your research. It's amazing for us, and especially for friends in TDR Global Asia who has been joining us throughout this whole webinar. So we want to remind you guys, we are from TDR Global Asia, and we have the TDR Global Discovery program. It's a worldwide community of passionate scientists like Prof. Bishnu and Dr. Gitali. And if you want to join, please scan the QR to learn more about us. And also we have a mentorship survey coming up. We will have more events in the upcoming months. It is more webinars, more mentorships. If you want to learn more about our events, you can join our newsletter. You can scan the QR or use the link. Probably because I have to continue the slide, you can just screenshot it and maybe scan it later. And we have to say that if you would like to showcase your research in our future webinars like Prof. Vishnu and Dr. Gitali here, please feel free to reach us at agitiarapranoto@gmail.com, and we would really love to feature your work here in our webinar. So anyone in our vibrant community of researchers can also see how amazing it is to work and develop a research for TDR, for tropical disease and the disease of poverty. Well, as we conclude our webinar, I'd like to thank Dr. Gitali Kakoti and Prof. Vishnu Ramdas for their valuable contributions to the community and to the TDR Global Asia. Your insights have deepened our understanding about Japanese encephalitis and, of course, the ecological factors and other situations that play factor on its transmissions. And we also want to say thank you for everyone for the active participations, for the eager questions. And we hope this session has been very informative for you all. Before we go, I'd like to remind you that this webinar will be has been recorded and will be made available at the Center for Tropical Medicine's UGM YouTube channel. So be sure to check it out if you would like to revisit any part of today's discussions. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward we look forward to see you at our future events. We wish you all have a great night, have a great evening. Thank you, everyone. This discussion has been very enlightening for all of us, but it's time to go. Thank you for everyone. Good night, good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agi.
Prof. Gitali.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Also, a kind reminder for everyone who's still here and want to fill the certification form, or you need any certifications for your participations tonight, we kindly fill the form on the chat box. We have the attendance in the bit.ly TDRGE_attendance if you need any certificates for tonight's event. So you can also stay tuned for information about our upcoming webinars by following us on X, formerly Twitter, at TDR Global Asia. We look forward to seeing you at our next event. Bye.